Thank you so much for talking with me, Adrian. I hope you are doing well. It's been like a month now since the finale, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
it's been a little over a
crazy.
month. Yeah.
Oh
A
my
little-
gosh. Well, before we get into like all that, I like to start these interviews off by asking your casting story. If you can tell me how you got on Big Brother.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so the way I started, how I casted the application process, I simply applied. I wasn't a recruit. I didn't have any ties to Hollywood, or I wasn't trying to get on any other shows. There's only one show that I always wanted to go on, and that was Big Brother. And I applied twice, and I made it my second time. So the first time, completely understand why I didn't get it. I sent in a 15-minute video. Don't ask me how I was able to send that in, because when you apply, it gives you like a certain amount of storage.
Right.
Don't do that. Do not do that. The second round, I did a 3-minute interview, or I did a 3-minute like application, and then I
Mm.
got on. So that makes a huge difference. And that was my application process. I mean, I could go into like more detail, but I don't know if I could.
No,
But
that's fine. That's
basically,
totally
yeah,
fine. It's so funny because I love hearing the recruits versus people who actually apply. You only applied twice though. That's amazing that you got in quick, I feel.
yeah, it's crazy. I didn't even like show any of my comps. I think I might have briefly talked about it in my application
Okay.
video, but I wasn't like in the background or me doing something crazy. I mean, I just was like talking off the hip. Like, I like to think I'm a professional, like D1 yapper. I could talk about nothing and anything for like a long periods of time. I don't know. Anyways, what were we talking about?
Well, we learned a little bit of that from your preseason interview. Did you see your
Yeah.
preseason interview and what they said about it? Just
Um,
that you talked for so long that we just were like, "Oh, he's going to be the first boot."
I heard
No
it was
offense.
I know it was. I heard it was longer than the others. I only watched mine. I don't. I didn't.
Okay.
I skimmed through like the other people's, but I think mine was a little bit longer. Was it not? I haven't
Yes,
had.
it was.
But
Well,
yeah,
they love to ask like the same questions. It feels like almost too. So it's like I don't know. What are you gonna do?
yeah. I mean, I have no idea. I just saw. Yeah, I like my interview though. I think it
Yeah.
went well.
So you mentioned that you built comps. I know you showed the wall comp. Did you build any other ones in your backyard? And like, how did
Uh,
that even start?
so I Well, because simply, okay, as a super fan, as a big fan of the show, right? I wanted to prepare for the show as best as possible.
Mm.
You got the strategic side, which is studying the show, like strategies, techniques. You have the social aspect, getting used to like talking to people, especially from people that have different backgrounds and experiences. But then one thing that I think was easy to control is the comps, right? You could study the comps. The comps change over time, and we're starting to see it change more recently, and I could get into that later. But
Mm.
that is a variable that's easily controlled, right? So I was like, the wall comp, I'm like, that doesn't really change. The grip does change a little bit. Sometimes they hit you with like a fake duck or flying eagle, and sometimes but they don't really spray you, right? So it's
Right.
basically the same. And I was like, how can I prepare for this? I'm like, well, the best way to prepare for it is to actually build the thing. And I'm like, well, I know how to build a lot of things. So I was like, let me just build my own wall comp. And when it
Wow.
comes to, I built other competitions. Normally they're smaller size. So like the ones that we saw, like the jewelry heist, or the one, or
Yeah.
not the jewelry heist, the one with the stack, the one
The
Keanu
thing you have
won.
to carry
And
around with the lasers.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, not that one. It
Oh.
was the blockbuster. It's like
Oh
I call it
yes.
the
Okay.
color stacking one. It's how I like to
Oh.
summarize it,
Yeah.
because we've seen it in the past, right? So I was like, we've seen it in the past competitions. I was like, they don't bring this back every year, but I knew that it could possibly come up since it's been a hot second, and it did on Blockbuster. And I built that in like a miniature form. I didn't need to build that like giant. I only have a certain amount of space in my backyard, so
Yeah.
I make a bunch of smaller comps, and then the big ones, I have the wall comp. I'm currently working on the seesaw one. I do have the regular
Oh.
balance beam. Yeah, the seesaw one, I'm just trying to figure out the bucket, but I won't be
Yeah.
able to work on that until I get back from a trip I'm heading to soon. But there was this seesaw, the wall comp, the vertical ball maze. I don't know if you know what that is the one Frankie did season 19. No, not
Yes,
19,
yes, with the
season 16.
two.
Yeah. Same
Yep.
thing with Cameron season 25. Like that one, it's similar to that, but this one has like all different angles to like help
Wow.
prepare for any, like if you're going diagonal, if you're going down, if you're going zigzag, if you're going across, like to help prepare for any direction, you get the hand-eye coordination. That's a very
That's
long answer to
amazing.
your question, but uh,
I love it.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
you have to prepare for the most you can. Or I don't know how to. Okay, you
Yeah,
just you
no,
prep.
I mean, it makes total sense. If you know how to build those things and you have the ability and the, supplies to do it, why not? I
No,
would if I knew how. Shoot.
I know. The craziest thing is you don't know the techniques or
Mhm.
how you would do in that competition unless you actually play in that competition. For the wall comp specifically, that's like my specialty here. And it's like some people think it's just weight and strength, and it is a lot of that, but there is a little bit of technique to it. And I think with the right technique that like I believe like Lauren and Catherine could have potentially won the walk comp
Mhm.
this year if they just had better technique. When you analyze Vince's hand like and his techniques for this season, I'm just like I think it was a little bit better than Lauren and Catherine's. But again,
Yeah.
strength and weight does matter too. But I don't know. There's like technique to it that I wouldn't have learned if I hadn't built that wall comp and tried it myself. So that's why I like building it life size, big size, personally.
Maybe they should get you into like production where you can like be a part of building the games. That'd be fun.
You
Would
know,
you want to do that?
I would be interested, and I did make a suggestion with what do you call it? I call it the bluffing game, but it was the one with the wine, the poison.
Yes.
And I suggested that they should do they should keep it like not so public because you know how the whole house could see you play, right? And,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I think it'd be better if it was individual. And I'll probably talk about it again next year when the season comes up because most likely we're going to see it come back for sure. But I think it's
Right.
best if it's individual and it's not like the whole house could see you because I feel like it kind of hurts your game if you're too good at it. It's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say it's like hide and go veto, but no, it's not like that. It's a little different. But I don't like that it's so public because it could hurt your game. Like, wow, he really bluffed their way to the end.
Right.
Right? And plus, if it was individual, the whole where Vince decides to go to Keanu instead of Mickey, that wouldn't have happened if it was individual and he had to walk in like a certain room or cubby, you
Mm.
know? So like that would have
Yeah.
because then someone may have to purposely throw it to hide like their how good they are at lying or bluffing or whatever. So it's like I think it's best if they do like individual like cubbies. Anyways, but
Hmm.
I was thinking about like design. I want to make another video about the slip and slide because they're trying to
Yeah.
make it more fair. And I have some just suggestions, but I need to like put that in a nice little format. I haven't had time to think about it because I'm working on the
Hmm.
project. But I'm gonna probably make videos about ways like if they want to improve a comp or make it more fair. Sure, I'm love to throw my 2 cents in and see if anyone picks it up. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, why not? So before we get into your season, like I said, it's been a month. What else have you been up to?
Mostly family. I've been not only catching up with family, but also just like I guess spending time with them. For instance,
Hmm.
I like just the other day I took my grandparents to their doctor's appointment because my grandparents often go to doctor's appointments and stuff, and there's not really people available to take them. And that's kind of the reasons why I became a carpenter is so that I have more flexible because I used to work as a manager for a store, but I had
Hmm.
to quit it because I needed more time for like family because there needed to be
Hmm.
someone to take care of my grandparents or just to help my family out. So that's why being like a carpenter, independent carpenter, where I could kind of select which jobs I pick up if I need to pick up a job. So, say if my grandparents need me one day, I'm like, okay, I won't pick up anything, and I'll
Hmm.
give them like my time to them. So, mostly it's just been spending time with family and just working on personal and client projects, but no big projects yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it. I love to hear
Mhm.
it. So let's talk about Big Brother a little bit.
Okay.
Walking into the house, you were a super fan. Um, Tell me what it was like just walking into the house. Did anything surprise you about the house or your cast?
It was. It was surprisingly cozy. I loved
Yeah.
the like you. It's kind of like I wouldn't say it's common sense, but it's it's something that you I didn't realize until you walked in the house that it was kind of designed to be very comfortable in the
Hmm.
house to where you could talk with everybody, right? So the living room, the upstairs loft, the HOH or the wine room, everything is like a nice place to sit and just talk with like people. And I just like walking in the house was just like I don't know. It felt like home. I loved it. I loved the storage room. You get food all you want. I loved the storage room. Let me tell you, I would love the
Right?
fact this is one of my things that I had to get used to coming back out of the house. Was like, oh shoot, I have to go to the grocery store. That was something I had to like. Oh dang, I forgot about that. But walking in as a fan, it was crazy. It didn't feel real. It felt like I was just living in a game that I don't know. It just felt normal to me. I don't know how to describe it
Yeah.
because. But one thing I did really enjoy was waking up and just thinking, okay, who do I have to get out? How am I going to survive this week? Who do I need to talk to? How am I going to like? What arguments, what talking points do I need to like say to convince them why I'm better for their game to keep me? And it was so fun to wake up, like literally the second you wake up, you're like, okay, let's see who got to talk to today. It was just so fun to play that game 24/7 because you really play. As soon as you fall asleep, I remember I had to practice like the days, the numbers, the name of competitions, who played, the vote. I did that every time, every day. Going to bed, I had to do that in my head. I started from like day one. I had to every day before bed. I had to remember the days and the name of
Yeah.
the comps, and then but waking up, you're like, okay. Like I said, it was just so fun to be able to like play the game that I always wanted to play, and it was an absolute blast, and I would always play it again.
What comps that you missed out on? I know the wall is one of them, but what else did you want to play that you didn't get to?
I would have loved the tiny veto. I
Okay.
think I would have done well on that. The tiny veto would have been fun. There was one, I don't know what you want to call it, but it was on, if I remember correctly, season 24, where it was
Okay.
the competition where like you have to like sneak, you have to accomplish certain amount of task, but you have to
Hmm.
do it in the fastest amount of time, making the least amount of noise. And I just remember like the people kept opening the door and there would be like cans that are falling. Because I was like, oh, I'm so ready for that. Because if it's like one of those quiet comps where you have to be quiet, I'm like, I'm so ready. I'm gonna open that door so slowly because I'm guaranteed they're gonna have like a bunch of cans ready to tip over at the body, like at
Oh,
the very start. I'm like, I'm prepared for that.
oh
But
my gosh.
it was the balance beams.
Mm,
Oh man, that was the one. The next one after I got evicted, I wanted to play the balance beam so bad.
yeah.
And I think going back to the point where they're trying to think like create the comps to be like more fair to where it's like almost anyone could win, no
Hmm.
matter like I think that's why they picked like versus like what is it like four people go and then the one person like eliminates like four or
Hmm.
three people. And I'm like, that was very interesting because beforehand I'm like I trained to be like individual, like whoever crosses the fastest times, whoever finishes first wins. But I was like, this brings a more interesting aspect. So it's like less physical. It's still physical, but like you have to be a little bit more strategic. And I like it as a viewer. As a player, I'm like, oh no, I don't like that. But as a viewer, I love it. I love it. But like the
Yeah.
balance beam, the tiny veto, and then like the quiet comp is probably ones I would have wanted to play.
I wanted you guys all to play hide and go veto. That is my favorite comp ever. I love that
Yeah,
one.
I I would have liked to play that like for fun, but in the
For
actual
fun.
competition, because you know the curse, like no one has won hide and go
Yeah.
veto and won the game, right? And if your life's
Yeah.
on the line, you're gonna want to win the veto, right? And it's just
Yes.
like I think I could win hide and go veto, but it's just the problem is you don't want to win hide and go veto. And then
Mm.
you have to clean up after. I was like, and my season was
That.
not known for the most clean house, like keeping the like. So it's like I don't know if I would have wanted personally to do hide and go veto because of that. As a fan, I would have loved to, but as a player, I wouldn't want to have done that with. this season's cast or any
Mm-hmm.
cast, really.
Right. I know the cleaning up part. Did you happen to see on the live feeds Lauren's spot that she found for hide and go veto?
I
Like the
did.
drawer? That was
I
clever.
suspected. I saw that. I saw that. So many people attacked me. I'm like, oh, did she find a hidden power? And I looked at it. I had to like look at my phone because people kept blowing me up. I'm like, what? And they're
Of
like,
course.
I don't know if they would be allowed, but they're not telling her anything. So I was like, rather the hide and go veto is not going to be allowed, or like isn't going to be this year because there's no way. One, if she has time to pick it, but like I was like, no way that wouldn't be allowed. They'd rather tell her like it's not going to
Hmm.
happen this year, or they're going to tell her no if she's actually picked a play and that's what she's doing. But I did try looking in there to see if they open,
Oh
but
yeah?
I never picked the lock. But I was only
No,
there 3 weeks,
you
so I
didn't
was
get
like,
that
there's a
bored.
lot more people. Yeah, I was like, I had to fight for my life, so I was like, I didn't really have time to, I guess pick at drawers.
No. Oh. All right. Well, what did you think about in the very beginning, Rachel? Now you were a super fan. I don't know how much you knew about Rachel or what no whatnot, but her coming down the stairs, what was your impression of that?
Oh, why is she here? Is my first thing. I'm like, oh no! I was like, she's gonna be here to host the comp. I remember in the couch, she sits down, and I'm like, okay, when are you gonna host the comp, and when are you leaving? Right?
Yeah.
She plays twice, she won once, she's a threat, and she needs to go. Everyone said that like she needs to go. She's an easy nominee the first week, right? So it's like, okay, everyone's kind of on board. Granted, they gave her safety. I'm like, okay, great. Hopefully, not much changes into next week. But one of the things was, it's like, I remember, like, I wanted her out because she
Hmm.
knew the game and she knew how to play. And I'm not wrong there, right?
Right.
So I wanted her out. And plus, there's two things going against it. Like, one, I didn't want to like get close to her and people would be like, "Oh, why is he getting close to Rachel? That's why we got to get Adrian out." It's like one of the reasons why Amy was like a targeted, and so was Ashley, right? Because I guess their closeness to Rachel.
Hmm.
And I was like, I didn't want to be seen as a target because I was getting close to Rachel. And two, it was kind of difficult to get too close to Rachel because I said this before and I said this in other interviews. It's just because she sounded like very interviewee. And it's
Yeah.
like, it didn't seem like I was actually talking to like a person. And, like versus when I talked to like Zach, Keanu, Kelly, or Vince, or like anybody, it would like be like a normal person, but like she kept asking like these deep questions right off the
Yeah.
bat. I'm like, whoa,
We
how about we
saw.
say hello? How's your day? So it was on those two aspects when it came to like the connection part and that the connection part and her knowing the game is probably I think two things that like I guess let us not working together. If I had stayed,
Hmm.
I would have like branched out. I think I did talk to her like maybe once a week, like a heart to
That's
heart or
okay.
like a one on one, not
Yeah.
like we said hi and stuff and like small talk like as
Right.
passing by, but nothing like sit down and talk. Only once a week, and I'm like, but that's
She
what
did admit
happened.
to
But
that. She did admit to doing like to using her casting interviewing skills to try and get closer to you guys. So in an interview, she did admit to doing that,
yeah, I
which
was
is
like,
funny.
it was so
Yeah.
obvious, but I'm like, people don't like.
Right.
She kept getting people to cry. I'm like, I know what you're doing. It's not. I'm like, some people are like eating it up. I'm like, dude, she's
Oh
playing
my
y'all. I'm
god.
like, I don't see
I
how you
love
don't
it.
see it.
Yeah.
But it's like whatever. I was like, it is what it is. I mean, it got her that far. I mean, hey, she did play a good game.
Yeah. Have you watched the show back at all? And what was your thoughts? Anything surprising from watching it back?
Probably Riley going week one, going into the storage room, just begging for safety. Oh, guys, I voted for you. Please keep me safe. That was surprised. Like, what? I was like, dang. That was probably the only thing because I was only there 3 weeks, right? And the rest I watched
Right.
it, so I kept up with it. I haven't seen the final 3 episodes because I was in
Okay.
LA and I was like busy catching up with the whole cast,
Hmm.
making a bunch of TikToks. So
Oh
with
yes.
that, I'm like I haven't had time to go back yet, and ever since I came back, I just been swamped. So I
Hmm.
haven't had a chance, but I'm going to soon, hopefully, if I have the
Yeah.
time. I'll go back. But that's probably the only thing surprising. I mean, I
Mm,
knew Vince was work. I was getting the feel for like Vince working with a lot of people. I did warn Zach. I did warn Lauren. Obviously, like Lauren told Vince. I think I also told Kelly because it was like he wasn't naming anyone's name. I was like, that's an easy
yeah.
indicator. Like he was with Lauren, and I was in there, and we're just like, okay, let's pitch names. And I said Jimmy. He's like, okay, Jimmy. And I was like, yeah, okay, but what are you thinking? He's like, I don't know. And then he would just be there quiet. And I kid you not, I stood there quiet 5 minutes. Like I just said nothing. And he was just, I was like, okay, this
Wow.
guy's not saying nothing. It's clear to me he doesn't want to say anyone's name because he doesn't want to, like, he's working with them and he doesn't want
Oh,
me telling other people then coming back to him. That on top of him going into rooms with like Morgan, Mickey, Jimmy, and I'm like, I don't really see you aligned with those people. And I'm like, and like I think it was Morgan and Vince were in the have not room talking, and I'm like, they're not have nots. Why are they talking, right? And then
right.
also like the week with like day one, we like this wasn't in the live feeds. Everyone told me how much they love Morgan, right? Oh, Morgan's really cool. It was Vince, Kelly, and me were in the final three. That Kelly did not want to name, but they were talking about bringing Morgan in. I haven't talked to Morgan much. Um, but they were talking about Morgan. And then same thing when I was with Will and Zach, they were like, we really like Morgan. I'm like, okay, I'm hearing a common theme here. Everyone really likes Morgan. I'm like, okay, she's a threat. I gotta get her out. But every time I tried talking to her, I guess it was just hard to connect. I don't know if it was like,
Mm,
I don't know. We didn't have much time to like talk because I guess I was talking to other people. I don't know the disconnect there, but I mean, I had some theories, but
let me ask you, have you caught up with like the live feeds? Are you watching any like you when you left, did you watch the live feeds?
absolutely. I
Yeah.
literally the day I came back, I didn't get any sleep. I stood up and watched every episode back, and
Wow.
I kept up with live feeds. I went live like every Thursday. Every time an episode what happened, I went live. I kept up
Yeah.
with the season. I have to. I love the show, right? I
Hmm.
understand it may be a little bit different for people that were in the show longer because they have a lot more to catch up on. Um, but for me,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm out. I was only out like what, week three. So I was like, there's not that much catching up to do. And I really want, one, to know what's going on. And two, I just love the show, right? I want to see how it plays out, what's really going on. I remember watching live feeds, and because like, I think one thing that hurt me when I came home, I was like, man, I really want to like, I was ready to like fight along with like my fellow allies and like draw some blood, like not play scared, which I'm like, I didn't like how everyone played so scared. I get it if it's in the beginning of the season, but if it's mid season or end season,
Mm.
like, you can't be playing scared. You gotta know what you're doing. Start taking shots. But I did keep up, so I know. Like I remember Zach was talking to Mickey, and he was like, "I haven't worked with you just because Adrian told me this information." And then Mickey kind of like twisted my words, and she's like, "Oh, Adrian brought up your 10K. I didn't. I just agreed with him on." It's like, no,
Yeah.
Zach, she's lying to you. I was like, don't listen. I was like, so it was, and then like Keanu, the week he got evicted, I was like, bro, focus on the comp. Stop talking to Vince. And then he drops it. I'm like, oh, Keanu, man, what's going on? So I was invested in the show. I kept up with
Mm,
the live feeds. I kept up with the episodes. I towards the end I stopped watching live feeds as like religiously, but
mm.
just because I got a little busy towards the end of the season. But I still kept up with it the best I could.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're a true super fan.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Any finale night, like behind the scenes? And what are your thoughts on Ashley winning?
But now, like, what behind the scenes? What kind of
Well,
like
you
what
like
behind?
you were there for finale night. You were there for, being on stage when Julie brought you guys all out. Um, and just like the after parties and all that stuff. I don't know. Any stuff? Anything you want to talk about?
Interesting. I mean, there's a lot I could talk about. I won't lie. There's a lot. I know things, but I can't say things because I don't want to be
Well,
messy. It's not my business. I know I'm doing interviews.
don't be
Sorry for
messy.
like the
Whatever
tease.
you want to talk about.
Sorry for the tease, but like my lord, there's a lot. But the things I will say, all the juicy stuff I can't.
Damn it.
I'm
I'm just kidding.
trying to be nice, okay? I'm trying to stay out of like
You
the
are a nice guy,
deep,
Adrian. I get it.
uh, you know, finale night was fun. It was great
Mhm.
seeing there. Uh, it was it was crazy that I was like on the stage. It didn't feel real. Like I said, it's just like I don't know if it felt like a dream, but it was a dream. Don't get me wrong, but it's just so crazy. But it's like a bittersweet because I really love the show. I just had like so big hopes of like going on the show and winning, right?
Mm.
So it's a little sad that I didn't win, of course, always. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, I love the show. I'm glad to have been on it, and I'm happy for Ashley that she won. Like she did great, and because like always, I had like a set of rules before
Mm.
going on the show, and I'm like, and it's like win when you need to. And I think Ashley winning, she won when she needed to. She didn't need to win every comp, right? She didn't need to be some comp beast, right? I think throughout the season, people were arguing, were saying a lot that like, oh, Big Brother's becoming more like the challenge. There's a lot of physical stuff to it.
Mhm.
But Ashley didn't win much, but she won when she needed to. I'm like, it goes to show like the, you could win. Like even though the show is incorporating more competitions, you don't need to be a comp beast to win the show. So and I think Ashley is a good representation of that. That it's not all about winning comps. I love comps. I know that a social game and strategic game is important, but I just love comps personally because I have them in my backyard. But I think Ashley winning. I think it represents the season well.
Yeah, I do too. Let's talk about, you said it's kind of getting like the challenge. Well, the White Locust kind of like flipped that for everybody. What do you think about that twist? They plan on bringing it back, I guess.
Yes, they plan to bring. I heard they plan to bring it back. I suggest that if they do bring it back, it should be a
Okay.
veto. Like the White Locust should
Yes.
be a veto, not an elimination, right? So there's
Hmm.
like you still have a chance to save yourself because I believe that I was okay. This might be a hot take here, but personally, before I went on the show, because I always felt like I was going to be on the show one day, I wasn't a huge fan of the back door because I didn't want to get backdoored personally. Like some people get backdoored and they did nothing wrong. They're just like, well, I mean, I guess you could always have done more to avoid like
Hmm.
getting put on the block. And I get that. But sometimes like I think the back door is just like as a player, as a fan, I'm like, okay, who cares? But as a player, I knew I was gonna be a player one day. I was like, I always believed there should be a chance to at least save yourself one time. So like the veto, right? Whether it's a mental comp, physical comp, a skill comp, or a luck comp, just something to save yourself, right? And when it came to the White Locust, I didn't like. I mean, you had a chance to save yourself, but I'm just like, I would have really liked to see Rachel still in the game because I felt like a lot of people were playing scared,
Hmm.
and a lot of people were scared to go after Rachel, and I would just have to like to see someone get the courage or the like just to see someone go after Rachel. Like, who is going to muster up the courage, or are they going to finally play scared? Because I felt, at least as a viewer, I felt when Rachel did leave, people kind of felt a little bit more relaxed. They weren't afraid to take shots. But when Rachel
Yeah.
was in the house, at least this is how I feel. This is my opinion. I just felt like they were all playing a little bit scared. But like I said, when she left the house, I feel like they were starting to become more relaxed, more like I could take shots now. I don't know.
Yeah.
So like that's my opinion on the White Locust. But I think
Yeah.
I would like to see Rachel had gone farther in the game and not eliminated the way she did. But
Same. I think that's like 99% of everybody,
yeah,
except for the
yeah,
producers, but whatever.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, I like the comp, but I mean, like I said, I think it should be like
yeah.
a veto, not like an
Right.
elimination. But
Right.
that's how I feel.
Yeah. What's one moment that you will never forget from your time on the season?
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I think it would be the first day. It would be the first day, saving like find like the missing host, like that the bridge comp, right? Where Zach won the 10K.
Yeah.
That one, because I think that was like the most surreal moment with me. Like for me, it was like fun. It was excited. I remember being in the studio in the set, and I'm looking around. There's like lava on the floor. You see some sharks or some like water stuff, and you hear the
Yeah.
mastermind. You are in my evil lair, and like you, blah blah blah. I'm like, I would wish you luck, but that's not what some evil person does. Whatever, right? I'm like, this is fun. I remember grabbing the puzzle pieces. I'm like, yo, I'm playing Big Brother, okay? I'm in it. I'm playing with these fellow house guests. And then like I remember finishing the bridge. I'm crossing the bridge. I'm like, okay, I got this. Everyone's still behind. I just gotta find the right door first, right? And I'm like, I'm listening. I'm like, I want the doors to go faster because when I'm listening, I'm like, okay, Julie, just come on, say what you because I'm like, it's a time. Like Zach's is right behind me. I'm like, I need to figure out which one is like the right one. And I'm listening to all of them. None of them sound right. And of course, I get to the final one, and then Zach picks the one I haven't checked yet. I'm like, gosh dang it. And he just guesses and he got right. But just
Yeah.
being in that moment was probably my favorite moment of all time. Just like that day one, just being in the house and just like actually playing a competition was like, it was so beautiful. It was awesome. It was exciting. Like, I don't know how to express it. You just had to be there. I don't know. I love that
Mhm.
day. Even though it was very tiring, we're up like past 24 hours. So that was super tiring,
Oh.
but I loved it.
But I loved it. Would you do any other reality competition shows if they asked you?
I would. I'm pretty open to like, I guess almost any, but I think if I had to go on any, I want to win. I don't play on reality shows for the fun of it. Like I want to win. Like the prize is the money, right? Like who doesn't
Hmm.
want the money? Who doesn't need the money? I was like, so like I think probably the second most would probably be the Amazing Race. Would probably
Okay.
be I'm looking into Survivor, but I always work in the sun, so that's the only daunting part. Because I remember when I first saw Big Brother, I was like, "Oh, Big Brother's kind of like Survivor, but like indoors." Even
Right.
though it's way different, way different.
It
I
is.
was like, okay, I'm like, I don't have to be in the sun because I work in the sun like all my life. So I'm like, I'm tired of the sun. I don't want to be in the sun. I can do it. I just don't want
Mm.
to. But so that kind of got me into Big Brother. But I think the challenge would be not the challenge. The Survivor would be pretty interesting, but there is a huge social aspect to it, and it's like group
Mhm.
things, right, rather than individual. Compared to like Big Brother,
Yeah.
you're like doing more individual competitions, rather like in Survivor you're always in a tribe and you have to work together. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd rather just do solo because I'm like, it's like less people I have on my team, less variables I have to like that I can't control. I like
Yeah.
controlling what I can, and that's like individual comps. But I would definitely be interested in like things like I'd like Survivor would be fun, The Amazing Race would be fun. I don't know who I'd take just yet. I mean,
I was gonna say.
I thought about Kelly, and I think I saw
Okay.
Zach too because she's just well traveled, right? I'm like, I think she
Yes.
would know a lot more. So I was like, I would want Kelly because I'm here to win, not for fun.
Yeah.
The traders
I
would
would
be
take
fun
Kelly
as a
too.
faithful. Yeah, I think traders would be fun as a faithful. I mean, I get because like me, I'm like I want to find those liars, but I feel like if anyone knows me, they would just probably vote me out just because like they know how I am. So I was like,
I don't
I
think
wouldn't
that
go
they
back
vote
too
you
long,
out. I
huh?
think you do well in the traders because you are that super nice guy, and they would know there's no way you'd be a traitor. But then what? Imagine they make you a traitor. Oh,
I
then you
wouldn't
might
mind it,
win.
but I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, again, like, I think I had fun either way. Like, the challenge, the
Yeah.
traders, the amazing race, the survivor. Like, I think I would have fun in any one of them because each one had like different strategies to it. And I would have to like brainstorm depending what position I'm at to survive because I guess I love competitions. I'm a little bit of a
Hmm.
competitive person. And
Yeah.
it's just fun to compete. So I'm like, I wouldn't mind any show that anyone offers to me. I mean, I was offered, not like, it wasn't like not the one I was on. It's like a smaller one, but I said no to it because it was like, it wasn't as fun. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
That is
I'm
fun.
like, I mean, it was a group thing. It wasn't an individual thing. I'm like,
Oh,
count me out. I was like, I want to
yeah.
win. I want to win.
Right.
I was like, so anyways,
Yeah, you don't want to count on other people. Now, would you play Big Brother again? And if you would,
absolutely.
would you change
Absolutely.
anything?
How could I not? Hmm?
Would you change anything at all about like strategy or like how you went about anything?
Absolutely. I would absolutely play Big Brother again, first of all. And second of all, I think you have to change your strategy every single time you go in because a winner is someone that's like you have to like a good Big Brother player needs to be able to adapt. And I think there's a lot of luck and like involved. There's some luck involved in Big Brother, but I think it's like at the end of the day, it's being able to adapt quick enough. Like I feel like I was adapting, or I was going to be able to adapt this season. I just
Mhm.
wasn't able to adapt fast enough to see like my game currently, like, how do I describe it? Develop into more. It's like
Mhm.
kind of like a seed. I feel like my game was more like a seed, like getting ready to blossom. But I just needed to survive long enough for it to blossom. But you definitely
Yeah.
have to change it, because it's all about the people you play with, right? So if it's rather on the second chances, I don't know if there will ever be a second chances. But the most common one that would only bring back like regular vets would be all stars. And I always said there's 4 categories for all stars, right? There's winners, runner ups, fan favorites, and the fourth one is what I believe I'm on, is someone that has something to prove, right? Someone that had potential, or someone that like could potentially have potential, or just something to prove, right? And I think I
Mhm.
fall into that category, but it just depends who I'm with, right? If it's with all stars, it's a different game here, right? I'm not playing with people. I would assume all stars, most of them won't be playing scared, and most of them will be playing logically, right?
Yeah.
And then also with all stars, it's a little bit different because you somewhat know the person's game or how they used to play. Of course, it changes every time. Like we saw Rachel, like her game has changed a lot from the last time she played to this season, right? So it's a little
Mhm.
bit different, but you know a little bit about you know a little bit more about these players, right? If it wasn't all stars or whatever it is. But I would definitely have to change like my strategy for sure, just based off who's in it. So every time you play Big Brother, you always have to change your strategy unless the previous one works the same with the same catch you're given. That's a
Yeah.
long answer. Sorry if I'm yapping a lot. I yap a lot, by the way.
No, that's okay. You guys are all made for TV. That it's totally fine that you guys talk. That's
Okay,
that's
thank you. I
perfect.
appreciate that. I will say when I went in there, the idea was to hide my threat, my comp threat
Yeah.
level. But what was always kind of the plan was to win the HOH, the first HOH.
Mm,
But when I was thrown in this save the host thing, I was like, okay,
right.
the mastermind says you're be handsome or worldly. So I'm thinking that's some superpower, right? I'm like, I don't care for the 10K. I really don't. Like at the end of the day, what matters is the top prize. That was the only focus. Any like 10K, 5,000, 15,000, 30,000. I don't give a truck, right? The
Mhm.
main goal is that final prize. I would have given all that side. I would have given any temptation, any prize to just stay in there longer for the hopes of getting to the end, right?
Yeah.
And I think if I'm going back to the original topic was I wanted to win the first thing, and obviously I didn't. I gunned for it. That's why I was the first one to cross the bridge, and I was checking all the doors. But when I lost, I was like, okay, I need to throw it. I need to like lower my threat level in the
Mhm.
actual HOH. I remember talking to Jimmy. I'm like, I want to compete in this HOH simply because that's one less person that I don't know competing for the HOH. So now I only have to worry about 3 people. I was cool with Jimmy day one. You know, Jimmy felt good with me. I felt good with him. I felt good with Ashley. We had like a small talk in the storage room. And it's funny because I totally forgot what Ashley said, but she said a sentence. Like she was talking like regularly, but she said something about like Big Brother, like alum or like some past games. And and I'm like, you told me like, whoa, she knows a little bit about Big Brother. Not, I don't know how much.
Yeah.
It raised an alarm for me. It was never shown, of course, but it was like she did reveal a little bit at like the first day. But I was cool with Ashley. I
Mm,
was cool with Jimmy, but Vince I talked to briefly, but not much. So I was like, okay, he's the only person I didn't want to win. So going into the like because I just didn't know much game. I didn't know if I felt like 100% safe with them before
yeah.
getting picked. So I was like, I think going like getting picked to play and throwing it was a good strat. I just think
Yeah.
I failed where I failed was I didn't throw it as good as I was like, it's not shown in the edit. But I mean, you hear my past house guests talk about it. I think I've done it in lives a lot with like Zach, Keanu, like any house guest I've been with. There's probably a live somewhere where I'm asking them like, yeah, like the first 30 seconds, I got my 2 layers, like my little 2 BB blasters, like the 2 rows
Mm,
up in like 30 seconds. Like it was so quick. And when I looked to my left, everyone else's was like, no one had one yet. And I'm like, oh, great. I look too darn good because all the house guests see me. But in the actual episode, it looks like we're neck and neck, right? Me and Vince
Yeah.
are slowly going back and forth. It was not like that. I had mine up for the longest time, and then like, and there's a little bit proof in the edit too, because you're like, everyone's like, okay, Adrian, you got this, and I'm like, oh, but I'm not done yet, and I'm slowly taking my time turning around. I'm like, I couldn't finish that, but I was taking my time because I was hoping Ashley or Jimmy was going to win, right? But then Jimmy, I know he was trying to throw it. Ashley, she says, as long as anyone wins except Vince. So I was like, she might be throwing it, she might not. And I'm like, great. So I had my two up just in case I needed to win, but I didn't really want to win because I wanted to I wanted to like lessen my comp level. But I should have acted more silly, been like, oh, I don't know how to figure out the numbers, because instantly when I saw the numbers, I was like, this is simple physics. Like, I know exactly where they go. It's not that hard. Like, I love physics. I'm a science guy. So it's like this is like high school physics stuff. So I was like, this is real easy. This
Wow.
is actually less. But I just looked really bad. So I didn't throw it as well as I should have, and that hurt me. That's why everyone was saying like, um, I kept getting second place in every comp I played in. That's
Hmm.
why, right? So like that was one of the reasons. But like the edit, like you wouldn't know that unless like you saw my lives or like
Yeah.
the interviews. Well, if you only saw the edit, then you wouldn't know. But,
Yeah.
yeah,
Even the live feeds, they don't show that in the live feeds. Nope.
yeah.
Um,
There's a lot
s-
more, but
yeah. So who from your cast, it's been a month, who from your cast are you still like talking with and friends with?
um, I like to think I'm good with a lot of people. The people I'm closest with from my season is probably like Zach for sure. He's probably like top dog right there, and then probably like
Yeah.
Keanu and Kelly are probably like the top three that I talk like the most with.
Yeah.
Um, Everybody else, it might be like a text or call. Well, I talk to. I text to Will pretty not often, but
Oh, Will.
regularly. I would say,
Yeah.
yeah,
You guys all just went, didn't, well, not all, but like a few of you just went to, was it like a welcome home for Keanu? What was that?
yeah,
You just
yeah.
went to it,
That
right?
was Yeah, a few of the past BB alum, or mostly the Texas like BB alum plus
Yeah.
Quinn,
Yes.
was there. Yeah, because I know Quinn's not from there. I was like, but I see Quinn. I know he's not. But yeah, I just came back from Keanu's like welcome home meet and greet, and it was so fun. I loved it.
Aw.
I loved meeting everybody. It's probably one of my favorite meet and greets, just because
Yeah.
the way it was hosted, it was pretty open, and like there was like it didn't feel like a crowded room, but rather like a good comfort. Like a real like a sorry, like a place to talk to
Yeah.
people. It was very comforting, like very casual, and I just really enjoyed talking to like I guess the fans, right? Everyone came up to
Yeah.
me. I'm like, "Oh, you're so robbed. I wish you had gone farther." And it was so interesting because they kept talking about Lauren. And I'm like, I don't want to say anything because Lauren has to. She was the HOH. She put me on the block, right? So when you
Hmm.
talk about my eviction, when fans come up to me, like she comes up pretty often, and
Hmm.
I'm like, I'm like, I like Lauren on a personal level, but like on the game level, I was like, what the heck, man? So
Yeah.
it's like because some people like come up and like they talk something like I want to say smack, but I'm like these are my
Okay.
fellow podcasts. Like I like as
Right.
much as like Zach voted me out. And I'm closest with
Hmm.
him, right? And then
Right.
like I also said things about Zach. I called him a chicken. I said his weakness was like getting like the girls, and then like it was. um,
Yeah.
but like I was just saying, I just think everyone in the game, I think, were just doing what they thought was best to further
Yeah.
their game. Some
Yeah.
I don't agree with. Some I think some may have regretted later, but I can't like hold like a grudge against anybody. And that is it.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
It's a
original
game.
question was. That would
No,
happen
you're
all the
good.
time in the
It's
DRs and the interviews. I totally forgot. I just started
that
talking.
does
I'm like,
not
well, what was the
shock me
original
at
question?
all. Does
Yeah,
not shock me at all. I was just asking who you were close with. But no, you're perfect. I do have one last question. This is
yeah,
a question from my son. My son is 8 years old, and he saw
okay,
your intro packet and immediately was like, that guy's cool. He's got bugs. Um,
yeah.
so he wants to know how many praying mantises you have and what are their names.
Okay, so Right now, I own three, but there's
Oh.
technically four because originally, like, okay, so my mantis egg, like little nest, they could like hatch between anywhere from like 100 to 400, maybe even 500, just depending on the
Oh my
egg and the
god.
species. But the rest of them I let out. One day I will keep all 100 or like at least 100. And then release them into like mid into like their second molting stage, so where they're a little bit grown up. Because if you release them too young, they often like they could struggle to survive, right? So you gotta like get them bigger. But I only own three, and the
Wow.
main one is Jimmy, which is funny enough because Jimmy, I didn't know Jimmy before I named him Jimmy.
Yeah.
Um, so it's Jimmy, Billy, and Frank are my three
Oh
mantises.
my god. I
Jimmy,
love it.
Billy, Frank. Yeah. But Jimmy's the one I usually show off because the others, I wouldn't say are weak, but sometimes I mean, I want to make a video about this, but like I just haven't had the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could raise a mantis in perfect condition, right? You have the perfect humidity, give it the right food, but sometimes when they molt, like shed their skin, their legs might deform, and that might happen because, like, I guess that like the humidity isn't right or that isn't like hydrated enough. But
Oh.
sometimes like mantises just die, or sometimes mantises just like deform. Luckily, I haven't had any that just died. But it just means so like so if they have like six legs, right? They're like, and if there
Yeah.
one's missing, it's just like they're more prone to falling and
Ah.
slipping, and it's like you don't want to handle them when they're like when
Yeah.
they keep falling in the ground, right? So it's like
Oh,
Jimmy's the only one that's like perfectly shedded because out of the three, like that's the only one, right? So it's like that one I can handle because like if it falls, it could fly. I actually want to do a series where I teach Jimmy how to fly,
oh my
because
gosh.
it flapped their wings in a video earlier, but I'm like, that's not flying. And I think it'd be really cool if I could, if I teach him how to fly. I don't know where he would fly to, but hey,
Right.
one step at a time, right? One step at a time.
Hopefully you
So
find him wherever he does fly to.
yeah, I'll keep him in my yeah, I'll keep him in a safe space because we don't
Yeah.
want we don't want them getting injured because they are fragile because they're little.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Wow. That's so neat. That's just so neat.
yeah.
So before we go, what do you have going on? Is there anywhere that people can follow you? What's going on with you?
You could keep up with me on Instagram or TikTok or I mean, yeah, it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. It's all living life with Adrian. The same thing. It's probably where like the three I'm most active on. The like that's basically the same. I'm gonna start posting more of like me building stuff. I just haven't had time because it's a process to build. But I'm gonna over the years I will be showcasing more competitions, like big brother competitions. So you can look forward to that if you follow me. Because I'm thinking maybe once a month I could do a new comp, but maybe that's a little too much. But who knows? So I'm
Never
just
know.
thinking, I'm just throwing out there. I will be building more Big Brother competitions and showcasing them. But yeah, you can follow me at Living Life with Adrian on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube.